So what exactly is pop? I know pop artists like Justin Bieber, Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, even though she's kind of country, The Weeknd as well at this point. If you think about all the people that I just listed, they all make very different music, but they're all kind of considered pop at this point. So I did some extensive research. Basically what it said was pop music is just popular music that's catchy. So to get started, I'm using a BPM of 126. This is a pretty good BPM for a pop beat. I use this in my new song Ego, which I'll link at the end of this video. And I know I'm gonna be able to create like a really good like kind of drum bounce with this BPM. So first sound we got here, it's called 2005. Super poppy. And this sound and all the sounds we're going to be using today are from my bank Blacklight, which is an Analog Lab / one-shot bank. I just copied all of the sounds in this Analog Lab bank into one-shots as well, just in case you don't have Analog Labs. You can still use all of these sounds. The most important thing that I did here is rather than having the chords extend all the way, play them at a rhythm. Next thing we want to do is just add some sort of counter melody. So right here I've got another sound from the bank, and this is just called Carnival. It's another like plucked key sound. Just sits really well with this. Now you might have noticed this part of the counter melody is a bit different than over here, but it makes it kind of feel like finished and resolved. Really the key things that I did here in order to achieve that, these are almost the exact same right here, but there's a few differences. Instead of an F right here, I added a D, and then instead of a D right here, I added an F. And so these are just the inverses of each other. These are just flipped around basically. And that's how I kind of kept it going. And then over here, I just added another note that's a bit higher, just because this was already going up. And so it made more sense to kind of have it continue going up than have it go down. And then this D right here just kind of close things out. And this is just the same note as right here. So next sound that is perfect to add for pop beats is just some sort of vocal. I've just got this sound from Arcade. It's called I Got You. Just adds a totally new dimension to the beat. So next sound that we're gonna add, and this is very common in pop beats, is what they'll do is they'll switch between like an 808 drum and a bass line, or switch between bass lines and other bass lines. They do that as well. And I'm gonna show you guys a tip on how to make sure it doesn't like sound bad a little bit later when we add the 808s. So definitely stick around for that. We've got this bass line from the kit as well, and this is just a black bass, probably my favorite bass line just of all time. So all I'm gonna do here is just add it to the root notes of each of those chords. You do something like this where you shorten the bass notes, just have them hitting every time each of these keys is hitting, and you can get like a kind of a cool sound. Might be cool for like a little breakdown or something like that in the beat. All right, so I went ahead and laid out all of these drums just so I could kind of explain them a little bit better. And all these drums are just from my drum kit Graffiti. It's my go-to drum kit, so definitely feel free to check that out. So to get started, we start with the clap right here. And I feel like claps, perks, snares, you can really use whatever here, but I feel like claps in particular just work perfect for this type of a beat. Second thing I added was just this ah sound. Definitely something you hear in pop beats. Next sound we got is just this hi-hat right here, and then we'll get to the 808 and stuff. Remember, I have a important trick I have to show you. I just have them hitting on every other step, so I just went out here to fill each two step, and then I went in here and just played with the velocities for every other one, just so it sounds a little bit more real. now on to the 808 and the key. For pop beats or any beats, we're using 808s and a bass line or multiple bass lines or 808s or whatever. First, let's click on the bass, go to this little wrench tool here, and its cut by is to 5. And so if this is nothing right here, showing nothing, you just want to go ahead and click cut itself. And now all you need to do is go to your 808 to make sure it's set to the exact same numbers. And what this does is it just stops the 808s and the bass line from running into each other. If you don't do this, when it switches from an 808 to the bass line, it can lead to a bunch of like distortion and it will sound really bad. And then here's just the 808, which is also just playing on all these root notes. And I just added a pretty basic drum bounce. And then the last instrument I added was just this kick right here. I did something a little bit unique with this kick. It leads to it having a lot more drum bounce. Let me just play this real quick and I'll explain. Rather than having the kick hit in all the exact same spots as the 808, if you see that line right there, I picked a few spots where the 808 wasn't hitting to add the kick, and that just kind of creates a little bit more bounce, as if you listen just right here. Again, right there. Alright, so I went ahead and laid the beat out. If you need help mixing your beats, I'm going to leave a video up at the end of this video that you should definitely check out. It gives you everything you need to know about mixing and how to mix your beats regardless of the style or genre.